Hello, everybody. I cannot hear myself. I don't know why. Hello, everybody. I am on my brand new Chromebook. So this is all new to me. I don't have a PC anymore. I'm using my testing. I am using my headphone headset so that I can get better volume because it really doesn't have a very good volume. So we're going to see how this goes tonight. I wanted to play some music for you in the background. I'm not sure that you would hear it. So, and I might have to use a ring light next week. I am going to need to know who is hearing me because I may accidentally have it turned off. And then I can adjust the volume here and here. So, welcome to my Witchy Wednesday live. It is 7:02, and I try to wait about a minute or two for other people who might be coming in. And I am not sitting in front of my entryway table, which I like to have for a background over there. But this is an experiment to go live on my laptop, which has a bigger screen for chat. So when you arrive, please wave, state your name, and let me know if you can hear me. All right. So hello. Can you hear me? If not, I will just unplug this headset, and if it's too loud, I can turn it down or I can turn it up. I don't know which way is which. Tonight, I want to talk about what I'm calling a case for sidereal astrology. Bonjour, mon ami. Jean-Marie. Yes, I hear you. Okay, great. So if it's not loud enough, let me know. I'll try turning it one way or the other. Thank you so much for being here. I don't know if you're familiar with sidereal astrology or not. You can let me know in the chat. So, a case for sidereal astrology. All right. So, what I'm going to do is first of all talk about my background. This is a booklet that my mother sent off for when I was a young girl because she believed through astrology she could try to understand me and my makeup and guide me in my life path as best as she could. And so this is very old. I was born in 1959. And so in those days, she sent off for an astrological report and it came in the mail like this. Now, it had a lot of information in here. Even though it was general, to me, it was, pretty detailed. So my mother even made notes here, which I referred to. I was probably not even a teenager yet when she gave this to me. And so as you can see, I have marked it, and she had marked it as well. She wrote things on the back. Now, this is Western astrology or solar astrology, and it was mainstream astrology, and it has been for many, many years. So this is what I referred to for many years, and I recently made a video stating that after referring to it off and on, I finally one day, as I got older, basically put two and two together and got four, and discovered that, this statement here and this statement here and this statement here, this planetary position, uh, someone who has the desire or the energies of a counselor, but also has a lot of psychism, and is attracted to ethereal things. I put, shamanic counselor. Now, I had already stepped on the path, so I was already learning about things. That's the only way that I was able to dissect just a few things out of this. Okay? That's too many years to be trying to figure out what your soul wants to do in this lifetime. And while there was a few things that were correct, there was some very important things that were not. And this is the case for astrology. My rising, as I had always thought, here said, was Aries. And so I would go by my descendant Libra, my rising Aries. And this is what was on my mind and stuck in my head for many, many years. Another person has come on. Hello. And as I began to read books about astrology when I was a young girl, I was interested, but I didn't really want to delve into it that deeply. I decided that I would watch YouTube videos, fast forward years later, and looking at and listening to the predictions for Aries, your rising, never seemed to really pan out. And I had this huge question mark in my head. Why does this almost never hit the nail on the head? And so then I would listen to my moon sign Capricorn, which Western astrology did say I had a moon in Capricorn. However, it also said I had Saturn in Capricorn. This was wrong. And this is very, very important. So fast forward now, just, a couple of years later, a couple of years ago in 2021, I hit upon the goddess Astarte and I start working with her. And she not only leads me to understand that there's a new constellation coming in overhead when we have a dark moon. Now, I've been in touch with the moon and I've been in touch with the dark moon for many, many years, even since I was in my 20s. And it just became stronger after I had my second child and I returned to meditation. And then I built an altar and I was using a candle. I could sense it. I would lay down, I would relax, I would regenerate. So, back in ancient Babylonian times and before, they looked to the night skies to help them see if there was a correlation between what was going on down on earth and what was going on in the heavens. Could they gauge themselves and find out the best times to plant seeds, to harvest, things like that? This is why they became expert astronomers. They also started later creating horary charts for people to get answers to questions. But getting this connection now with the dark moon, receiving information on the dark moon about constellations, as I worked with Astarte for the past year from 21 to 2022 primarily, I saw the dark moon heralds in a new constellation. What is this about? Now, coincidentally, I had started a Twitter account in 2020, I think, for moon transit reports only, short and quick. This was based on Western astrology. Now, one day, a male astronomer stopped by and corrected me. Boy, was I mad. And I said, I'm a witch. Maybe you want to unsubscribe. Now, his message was not wrong. The problem was his delivery. When he was trying to tell me, you have, uh, you know, I don't know if he showed a picture or what, but I went to his Twitter account and it said he's an astronomer. And I said to him, "You're an astronomer, you're not a witch." Don't correct me. So what happened was I had another question mark in my head. Why would he even say that? Why is there any question as to what the moon is doing right now? Now, if you practice magic in any way, if you have an altar, if you meditate at an altar, if you do any kind of workings, whether it's internal to change yourself or to create change in your life with a spell, the first place that you want to look really is the moon. If you want something to grow, it needs to be waxing. If you want something to diminish, it needs to be waning. And this is called a magical election. So you need to plan and you need to choose a lucky time. This is what a magical election is. But after so long, I'd say maybe 6 months to a year, you really want to move on to moon transits. And at that point, you really need to know where the moon has actually moved in the heavens. Now, the constellation up above relates to the sun. And this is basically what they started doing many, many years ago. They decided they were more concerned with the seasons, so they cut up the sky into 12 parts. The problem with that is there is not all the constellations are the same size. Virgo is gigantic, and then another one like Cancer, I think it is smaller. And so I was led to review this video that I've seen a few months ago from the Sidereal Astrologist, Mastering the Zodiac. His name is Ethan. And as he described the wheel and the pieces and the degrees and the solar system for whatever it was that they wanted to be most concerned with in those days, uh, it wasn't really correct. They gave every sign 30 degrees. So as I rewound and rewound and rewound, listening to what this man said about how we have something called precession, where it appears that the sun is changing position 1 degree every 72 years. So I multiplied 30 degrees by 72 and I got 2,160. What he said was, after a certain number of years, say maybe 2,000 or less, the problem comes with using this system that if it looks like you are an Aries, now you're actually a Pisces. And that is what hit me right between the eyes. And that is when I started asking myself, maybe I should redo my chart. And then I was listening to some other sidereal astrologers as well. And so I already knew how to get on and print out a chart. So I figured out how to go in and do sidereal. My rising came up not as an Aries, but a Pisces. And at first I went, what? Because I had that stuck in my head for so many years. And then when I stopped and I thought about how much I've been a dreamer and a dream worker, and receiving visions and developing my intuition, and it's all really not been that difficult for me. Once I was led to it at the age of 12 and I got the hang of it, it was sort of like a duck in water. And so as I began to work magically at my altar, oh, hello, someone. We got another one here. Say hello, please. Began to work magically at my altar with water and candles and such. I began to see where I had this natural propensity towards this. And it's not because I'm a Cancer, it's because I have a Pisces rising at 29 degrees. And I used to say, I live in the astral plane, which is not something that you want to do. Why is this important? Let me turn off the notifications on my phone. I'm sorry. Okay. Now that I'm on the computer, um, why is this important? Well, because if you get your correct rising, then you're going to want to look at the correct placements of everything else. I ended up throwing out my Western astrology chart because if one thing is wrong, why save it? I did not have Saturn in Capricorn. I have Saturn in Sagittarius. And with my Western astrology, I kept saying I don't have anything in Sagittarius. Why am I having this dream of Astarte coming to visit me when the moon was in Sagittarius? Well, because I have Saturn in Sagittarius. There's another piece to that, which I'll talk about later, and it relates to the 13th zodiac, which a lot of Western astrologers, I don't think they're taught and they don't believe there is one. Ophiuchus. I think that's how you say it. Yeah. So I'm having a lot of fun with this app. The man recommended it. I was sitting out on the patio, and as I was searching for things, I came across this app, and I went, "Oh my gosh! I don't have to pay $100 or more for software. Now there's apps, and this app will show me visually where the moon is, what constellation, right, when it's transiting." Which it does for 2 or 3 days, and I can see where it's moving out and it's going on to something else. There's no question anymore. I can look at the app and see what's going on in the sky with the stars. So, knowing what my rising is called your true self. And then also I can look at where my north node is, which is very important. Being my rising in my case is also my south node. So, I need to look at that and I need to move towards things that are related to my north node. That is what I've come here to really do this time. I had a very strange paranormal encounter years ago. I've made a couple videos about it, where after stargazing on the Little Dipper one night, about 2 weeks later, some type of a little object came down to my tree in my backyard by my back door. And I've always called it a UFO because I didn't know what it was. And our back door flew open, and my familiar bass, she walked down the steps, and she just sat there looking at it as it was turning in the trees. And I thought, oh God, what's going on, right? I don't want to go anywhere. And Bass, usually when she gets to go out, she just flies. She just sat there looking at it. So later, months later, figured it was some type of a transmitter. And Bass was picking up on it. Bass would sleep with me. Now, my birthday was coming up, and about a week later, around the time of my birthday, it came back. And Spirit has always done things 2 times to make me know that it was them. And this little thing went over my bedroom. I could hear it, and I was just frozen in bed. So I had a dream that was transmitted to me, and it was very vivid. It had to do with my past, um, things that had happened in my past. And then the message was, well, first of all, they had me looking at a poster of a movie that was called It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. And as I was writing my dream out, I thought, yeah, they're kind of picking up on me, or maybe they're agreeing, right? The world's getting kind of crazy. And what happened was the message that came to me, spoken to me, was you are given a second chance to live your life over, this time as yourself, free of false pretenses. Guys, if this wasn't important, they never would have said that to me. Our rising is our true self. It's important to see what we came into this world with, and also what the negative aspects to that might be, and why at our north node we need to focus on moving to that direction and acquiring things that are much more like the north node. And as we do, we will start to see things really getting better in our life. So now with this app is called Sky Tonight. Let me see if I can show you here. This is what it looks like after you download it. Looks like the Little Dipper with Polaris. And then looks like it's gone back to what I was looking at earlier, which shows that where the moon is now moving out of Sagittarius towards Capricorn. But the app is called Sky Tonight. Hold on. Anyway, it looks like the Little Dipper. I don't know if you can see it there. But if you go to Google Play and you go to Stargazing Apps, type in the search bar Stargazing Apps, and then when you see the blue circle with the shape of the Little Dipper, says Sky Tonight, that's it. That's the one that I decided to start using. And so now I can really see what's going on in the heavens at night. They have a YouTube channel. You can watch some of their shorts, some of their videos on how you can use this app. So whether you just want to uh, get this information for some knowledge, or you want to actually create a plan for your meditation or your spell work, or creating a talisman like I did. Where did it go? My good luck charm here, which I made when um, Taurus was in the heavens. And then I engraved Aldebaran. That was a interesting thing that I did that helped me a lot. I've talked about star energy being very powerful. It's the only thing that I have heard that can override a negative aspect in your chart. So, this is why I think it's important for us to know about star energy, how they work, the energies that they have. Now, another lection that you might want to look for is if you're going to have surgery. I have a friend who just had a surgery. I showed her the app yesterday, and I'm going to let her know that she can use the app to think about scheduling her surgery on a particular phase of the moon. I've heard that you don't want to look to schedule your surgery on the full moon because you might have excessive bleeding. They say these two things seem to go together, but that if you'll look to schedule your surgery on a waning moon, you will have less bleeding in your surgery. So, like it or not, the moon has an influence on all of us. It is the closest heavenly body to Earth. And if you're interested in stellar magic, I do have a couple of videos on it. I've talked quite a lot about the stars and my lucky talisman that really helped me change my life in the first 30 days and then move to a much nicer place, which is where I am now, a year later. So within a year, I got back to middle class, and I had been trying on my own to get out of the lower middle class neighborhoods, and to no avail until I called upon the help of Aldebaran, the constellation Taurus, and the moon. Now with this app, I can actually go in there and look and see exactly what time the moon is coming conjunct to a star. So you can very easily learn terms because it tells you here. Conjunct means it's coming very close and it's like parallel or adjacent. You could also uh, you'll also learn close aspect, which I think is when it's even closer. So close aspect would be even better, and it tells you what time when you learn how to use the app and you go up at the top where it has time and you see what time the moon is coming close to that star, the one I'm looking at, 1:48 in the morning, and that's usually the way it goes. And you have to plan and prepare, and then you have to get up at 1:48 in the morning, and then stand up and face that direction, and then engrave your gemstone or your precious metal, and then suffumigate it and put the corresponding herb on there. And then you have a powerful talisman that basically will be with you for the rest of your life. Now, Taurus has brought me an elevated uh, lifestyle in the sense of where I'm living. It's a middle class neighborhood, but I have to work for it. So the tendency for Taurus is to sit on your laurels, and you can't do that. You have to continue to work. I just made a case where I said for Tina Turner, she had Moon in Taurus, which is a very auspicious thing, right? I've used it. However, she said, I've had to continue to work. I've been broke and I've had to continue to work. However, she made a name for herself. And so then she was able to draw on that. But she had Taurus is about steadiness, all right? You want a steady stream of things coming in, but you also have to be disciplined and uh, work for that to gather in. So you might get a promotion, you might get a raise, but you still have to go to work and do that job. There are other energies that can help to bring a more of like a windfall to you if you're not able, if you're limited mentally, energetically, physically, whatever, in a way that you just can't work as hard as you used to. There are some other energies that you can work with that can help to bring things to you. So, did you have a chance, anybody here, to go and look at Google Play and see the sky tonight? Sorry, Google came up. It thought I wanted to talk to it. You have any questions? Well, I hope this was interesting because if you're practicing alternative religion and I playing with it now. You're a good follower. This is wonderful. And if you are working to channel, and I don't know if you've discovered where that's coming from, this is not something that I think if you go to a spiritualist church, they do all that. I haven't been in an area that has a church like that. So I've just had to develop myself. And really, I think we've lost our connection to nature. And it's one of the reasons why we're all sick and unhappy. We also are asking the question, why am I here? Well, it's in your natal chart, you know. It also can be revealed to you if you meditate and you take notes and you listen to what the planets and the stars are really trying to tell you, because they are embedded in us from the moment we take our breath. Where the planets and even starlight was at the time we take our breath really becomes a part of our physical body. So meditation can help you get in touch with that and let it guide you as to what you are to do next. But I like actually seeing on a piece of paper all of these things. And I've even added a few things in my chart, and so has somebody else that I have been following for several years. Oh, there's another person again. Hello, please wave your hand. Say your name if you can. So, yes, putting your feet on Mother Earth is called grounding, it's called earthing. The earth is made of star stuff, so as above, so below. This is just another thing that we can benefit from by learning about it, going outside. Stargazing is a good way to start. And then I would like to maybe someday hear what the messages coming through are guiding you to. Is it a spirit guide sharing themselves with you? Because I've had that happen. That's how I first started channeling. Or is it something else that you can share? Oh, 3 people. Wow. Yay. Well, I'll stay on here a little bit longer. I've been talking about how I was led to star astrology or sidereal astrology, in particular for birth charts, natal charts. Western astrology is no longer correct because of precession. The sun moves approximately 1 degree every 72 years. So, in about 1,000 years or so, you could be charted as an Aries and you're actually a Pisces. This is what I've been talking about. I've tried stargazing with Dr. Greer's app. Oh, Christy, hi, you made it. Dr. Greer, Dr. Greer. Okay. Is he the one that has that Cosmos show? I know the name. Well, how do you like this one, the Sky Tonight app? How does it compare? You'll have to let me know. If it's easier to navigate, if you like the way it shows the moon. I'm getting ready to make another talisman. I have an emerald ring here. I don't know if it's real though. I've got to find some type of a real, unheated, untreated gemstone and the metal silver. And I'm looking to see, it was recommended to me that I work with Spica because Spica is in Virgo and that's where my North Node is. So by working with the star Spica, it's going to really encourage me to do the things that I came here to do. Which means I'm going to have to get up at 1:48 in the morning. But hey, this one I didn't even have an app to choose the perfect election, and it still worked. Hopefully ETs will show up soon. So far, nothing. Oh, yeah, that was weird. I had somebody channel to me later. I met a medium who channeled something to me one day, and she said, "Here, let me channel for you and see what's, anybody's got a message for you." And my spirit guide came through, and then a message came through that said, "ET's involved in your research." And at the time, I was like, "Whoa, what?" So I have some kind of spirit guides up there, I guess, helping me figure all this stuff out. And, I share in my own unique way because I am a psychic and a medium. I'm also a shamanic psychic medium. So I receive messages, like I said, I receive guidance from the star goddess, the moon goddess, Astarte. And so really finding out Stephen Greer's, oh yeah, CE5 ET contact app. Oh, okay. Okay. um, I feel like if it happens, it happens. I'm not so sure we need to be necessarily calling out to ETs. There is a way that you can work at an altar, and there's a woman by the name of Lisette Larkins, and I came across her years ago in Barnes and Noble, and she actually has several books on contacting ETs, excuse me, communicating with ETs, and setting up an altar, and she's actually getting way up into her 70s now. It's a shame because I don't believe she's received the notoriety that she should have. You know what I mean? It was like she was here too soon with that message. But her name is Lisette Larkins, and she does have books for sale. Um, I have a Tektite. I was led to get it, and evidently it's a real one and it's a good one because my friend felt the energy when she put it in there. And to tell you the truth, when I do want to ask them a question, I hold it in my hand, and now I can go outside on my patio and look up at the stars. And so as I'm getting older, it does seem like I can see something that's just super fast flying across the sky. And I swear last year they actually helped me realize that I had missed a very important email about signing up to continue to work as a substitute teacher, that had to continue doing that year, and I'm probably going to have to continue doing it at least part of the year this year as well. And I had been holding it regularly every night for a few, I don't know, 5, 10 minutes or so. And that's basically it. I don't know that I had a question on my mind. I might have. But yeah, they made me wake up one morning at like 6 a.m. And I just felt this sense of urgency that I had not received this email. And I hadn't. They had sent it to another place that I wasn't checking. And so I just took a shower, got in my car, and went over there and said, "Are you still doing orientation? Because I still need to do this." And they said, "Yeah, we have a couple of slots for you. The next one is like in an hour." So, I mean, I got in at the last minute because I don't know if I would have had to reapply or what. So, yeah, they woke me up. But, I don't know if you're channeling Jean Marie. So, this is a very interesting thing that you have going on there. And I can't wait to hear more. Especially if you've done anything with the CE5 meditations. And if you've decided to buy a Tektite. I still have to come in for my close up. It's a little bigger. Some strange dreams so far. Oh, wow. I love hearing this. Thank you so much for sharing. Dreams. Okay. So are you a moon in Pisces, or do you have a Pisces rising, or do you even know? Because not everybody receives information in dreams. Some people receive an impression or a feeling or maybe a vision, but they also might just receive a memory. I've had things pop up in my mind that were titles of movies or titles of TV shows that I used to watch. I'm like, oh, why am I thinking that? Well, it was a message. I don't even know. I just started reading astrology For dummies. Oh, okay. So this is a wonderful synchronicity here. I have been wanting to get on Fiverr to offer my services for giving information on people's sidereal chart. In other words, pulling it up, screenshotting it, I guess, and then sending it over to them. But if you wanted me to do that for you, you could we could do it through PayPal, and then you could email me at my Gmail. That is not in my description. Um, and I don't even know if the live I had saved came up when I clicked go live. For some reason, I'm going to have to go back in and put the title for this video, this live. But it's Modern Magic, magic with a K, 88 at gmail.com. And so then if you wanted me to pull up your sidereal chart, now if people decide that they want to do that for themselves, that's one thing. But if you want someone to interpret it, you really need to go to a reader who has worked with planets and worked with stars and understands the energies and has learned about the houses and what they mean. So, and basically, you'll get great information about your rising, which is your true self, and then your north node, which is where you should be going. Your soul wants to go there in this lifetime. So, please let me know if you would like that. I will be asking $100 for that, which I think is a fair price. Because it helps answer the question, why am I here? And I might be able to see some other aspects in your chart, which you're obviously got psychism uh, abilities there. Oh, you need to do money magic. Yeah. Oh, hello, Wayne. Wonderful. I'm glad you're still working on your magic. And Jean Marie, one of the best energies I think that you can really work with for acquiring money in the way that you need is with star energy. So I don't know what you're working with, but right now we have Gemini in the sky, and so you have to consider that. And Thursday is generally considered a very good day to work. So I don't know if you're doing candle magic or sigil magic. Affirmations are also very good, very good. And yeah, sometimes I don't get what I want. I know what you mean. There are things in our chart that not even a spirit can override. They have to work. They get in touch with us, they have to work with what's in our chart. Um, like I said, star energy is the only thing that I've come across that I've heard from a very experienced practitioner that can actually override a negative aspect in your chart. And this is the reason why I chose Aldebaran and Taurus and the moon, because I've had such a fluctuation with my finances and I wanted steadiness. And I would say I've definitely had more steadiness since I have worked with it. I got a raise with my job, and so I've been able to continue doing that work and have a steady income while I'm working on other things. And it also depends on what you're asking for. If you're asking for a raise or promotion, or if you're actually asking for a windfall, you know. If you say things like, money comes to me, I am prosperous, you have to say that several times a day. Believe it or not, these are sound frequencies that are going to energetically start working from your aura. Uh, I had a dream the other night that I saw word energy or energy words on my neck, and I know this is true. Speaking into your life what you want. A lot spells are supposed to be about writing and talking what you want. But you can't just say it once, you have to repeat it several times throughout the day, whether you're chanting in Sanskrit or you're speaking in Latin or you're speaking in English. It is very powerful. I am prosperous. I am financially stable. I have a steady source of income of, I need 10% more or 20% more, whatever that is. Write that dollar amount down and say, this is the amount I now have every single month. And that can be challenging because there can be some other things that are going to change. Is that what's blocking us? Oh my gosh, I'm going to lose that. Then I'll have to be, more money, more problems, money problems. But we have to accept that we are growing and we are learning. And so it's best that it happens little by little. Like if your income increases by 10% or 20%, a lot of people that receive a big windfall, they don't know what to do with it and they end up losing it. So that's another thing to consider. Let's see. Jean Marie says, I'm going to try some Damon magic tonight and see. All right. Um, I would be cautious if you think about working with claw neck, simply because I've worked with claw neck. And if you don't have a product and a service already ready to go, he's going to have you feeling like you don't want your stuff and you'll be selling all your stuff. Yes, you'll get the money that you need, but then you won't have any stuff. Can also make it very difficult. He'll put a fire under your behind and really get you going. I mean, you won't be able to do anything else except focus on your goal, right? Like the housework will go to pot because you're just so focused on your goal. That's okay. But if it lasts for more than, 3 months, then a lot of other things are going to fall by the wayside. Um, I had better luck, I think, really working with Bune. Let's see here. Corelli's, Goetia, and combination. Sigil magic and path working, yes. I think that the fact that you're already channeling Jean Marie is a fantastic source for you to go to and just ask, what how should I go about this? Should I work with a spirit, or can you suggest and ask them, are you my spirit guide or are you my higher self? I'm curious. Should be focusing on my needs instead of my desires. Yeah, I know. I know. When you're accustomed to that and you're a worrywart like I used to be, you have to talk to yourself a lot. And you have to think about one technique you can use is what's going to represent my acquiring this extra money? Like right now I need a younger car. And so I've printed out a picture of a younger Camry. And that is my goal right now, is to be able to work and save to get a younger car. Now, the funny thing that's happened is that when I went to get my muffler fixed, I found out I have multiple problems. So then I went to get my muffler fixed. It turned out to be the catalytic converter, which is $1,000. And I'm like, oh, this just keeps getting better and better. But he suggested I apply for a loan, which I didn't think I would get, but I got it. So, in order for me to be able to get a younger car, I need to start working on my credit. I've already been paying stuff down, getting it cleared off my credit report. So, it's kind of a magic works in mysterious ways. Oh, thank you, Jean Marie. Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, Jean Marie. I appreciate that. Okay. Let's see, Wayne. Was What deities do you recommend working with? Oh, I started working with the Egyptian pantheon. I was attracted to that, so I called on Bast. Then I called on Hathor, and then I was interested in Zeus because of Jupiter, being the great benefic. Now, Jupiter does rule my chart. However, I've just learned from Christopher Warnack that there's a negative aspect of Jupiter in my chart. Now, I think I know what it is. It has to do with me being overly positive and jumping into things a little bit too soon. But as long as you keep your head about you and use discernment, I think working with Jupiter can be very helpful. Jupiter loves to study and learn. So, I mean, it could lead you into signing up for a course that, you don't have the money for right now. And so many times I've had to say to Jupiter, back up. I do not want to pay for another course right now. I'm done with all that. I've had many different courses I've been through. I've been to college twice. I think I'm done. And I don't have the money for that right now. But maybe Skillshare, I don't know. But yeah, you can just tell yourself, I've got to find another way to get this knowledge, to get this information. And sometimes it takes longer, but you don't want to get encumbered with some type of a hefty loan for any reason. If you can't afford it, well, that's probably best right now. So, yeah, you have to go with what you're attracted to. If you've been looking at pantheons and try different things. Try different things. One day you'll hit upon one that resonates with you so much you'll be blown away. That's what happened to me. And I think that's probably the best way to go about it. Well, this turned out to be a very good live. It's 7:54. So I'll show you. I'm using this. Got my little lamp on my printer. I've got this little $5 ring light from the Dollar Tree. This is very, very precarious, but yeah, I think it works. If I need better lighting, I can probably bring over my big ring light next week. So, yeah, if you're interested in having your sidereal chart done in the near future, please let me know. And if there's any other questions, definitely keep your thoughts positive, repeat them several times a day. And I am lucky, I am lucky, I am super lucky. Everything works out great for me and for everybody else concerned. That's your safety clause. And in my description, I do have a template, which is a link to an ebook that I eventually wrote on positive affirmations that I made into little scripts for different goals. That's how much talking to myself helped me because I was a worrywart. And we get so focused on what we don't have and what we need, and we don't get into the habit of claiming what we really need, that we already have it. And that's a big part of how it works. Also, if you found this interesting or helpful, and when you're able, please go to my PayPal me for this channel and donate $5 or more. It is a paypal.me/casting cauldron, and it's in my description below. That always makes me feel encouraged to keep studying and researching and going back into my experiences and my memory and sharing those with you. And yeah, again, you can make suggestions as to what I might talk about in the near future, gemstones. But I would say right now, going outside and just beginning to stargaze. You can connect to star energy by going outside and picking a star and stargazing on it for at least 15 minutes or so. And especially if on a dark moon, you'll be able to see each star come up one at a time within a constellation. And you can connect to a constellation or the main star in that constellation. I've done that too. And that gave me a very insightful dream. So, unless anybody has any other questions, well, everything I just said, it's a combination of feeling lucky, feeling prosperous, stating that you have the money you need, whether it's a 10% increase in your income every month. And in your case, Jean Marie, I would say sit down and do your channeling. That's the best source through you, and ask where it's coming from. Is it your higher self? Is it your spirit guide? And the best way for you to go about getting some extra money right now. And sometimes one way of getting out of ourselves, with which I've talked about before, is giving a little something to charity. If you've got a shirt you're not really wearing anymore and it's in good shape, I have a habit of putting things in a bag, and after a couple of months, when I get enough, drop it off at Goodwill. Just making it a habit of giving out of yourself. Sometimes we get so concerned with what we're losing. That is a poverty consciousness. We don't feel we have anything that we can give out. But a person who is prosperous doesn't really feel that. So that's another habit to start thinking about. So it is about 8 o'clock now. And so this has been a wonderful hour. And I thank you so much for coming on and chatting with me today. And I hope to see you again next week and have some uh, progress information, some information about some good progress that is starting to happen. Okay, so think about that and let me know. All right. So I will say so long, good night, and happy stargazing.